Okay, so this is a really short talk. It might seem a bit weird because it was kind of meant to be almost like a companion to the talk we were going to be having on PHP Storm. So this was meant to be just a short, here's a contrast, another kind of perspective on your development environment. So yeah, it's a bit of a quick run through Sublime Text. So in terms of a development environment, an IDE, I guess there's a range of IDEs, some more lightweight, some really heavyweight that do lots of code analysis stuff. Sublime Text is definitely more on the lightweight, more kind of text editor end of that spectrum than the heavyweight IDE end. So yeah, definitely much less heavyweight than 4-burn IDE, really fast, particularly fast startup compared to again, like sort of PHP Storm when it starts up. Especially if you've made a lot of changes, you'll find that it spends a fair amount of time re-indexing the code. It's doing a lot of code analysis, whereas Sublime Text is pretty much straight away it's there. But it does have a decent set of core features that you want to get. Syntax highlighting, code snippets, stuff like that, all built in. Then there's a large plugin ecosystem for Sublime Text, so you can develop your own plugins for it in Python, and lots of people do. And so there's lots of those out there to kind of help build on the core system and give it some of those more IDE type features that you might expect. And also similarly, there's lots of really nice themes out there. So you've got like a light theme or a dark theme, or you have your own kind of like particular color scheme that you like to use, you'll probably find a Sublime Text theme out there that's already doing it. Then need to say more on the core features. On the slide. Yeah, there we go, core features. So yeah, decent syntax highlighting out the box for all the common languages, and again, you can get more of them as packages. Again, kind of decent autocomplete. It's based on text symbols that are already in your file a lot of the time, rather than kind of really knowing the code or the language that you're using. So it's definitely much more on that. You've used this variable somewhere else, I'll autocomplete it for you, than kind of knowing PHP functions. Although again, plugins can have that kind of stuff for you. I think one of the kind of features that I guess won me over, and probably a lot of people who kind of first jump into Sublime Text, is have really good support for multiple cursors. And I'll show you how this stuff works later. But yeah, being able to like select all the instances of a word and like have a cursor on each of them. So if you want to extend it, you can kind of like add more to the end of it, and it's happening on every instance of that word in the file. You can also select a bunch of lines and have a cursor automatically at the end of each line, and that you can then do lots of text manipulation if you need to do the same thing, and lots of lines you can do it really easily that way. It's really nice support on that. PHP Storm does have that kind of functionality, but I got the impression it's quite a late feature, because the keyboard shortcuts to it are kind of like Alt-Shift-J or something crazy to do some of this stuff. So, but yeah, it's pretty kind of just there and up front in Sublime Text. It's got a decent go-to definition built into it, which again is based on kind of matching text symbols, but it works reasonably well most of the time. We were kind of talking earlier about Atom, which is a very similar editor to Sublime Text, and I've never found a good Atom doesn't have this out of the box, or not the last version I checked. And so I never found a good solution for that on Atom, which is kind of one of the main reasons I've never actually switched to Atom. So snippets is probably one of the ways where you would actually get that more kind of language-based autocomplete. But it can be much more than that. So you can have snippets that would be, if you start typing the function or whatever, it will kind of give you the basic function outline that you can fill in, and you can tab between areas of it. Really nice support for that. And it has built-in kind of brace or bracket matching, and also kind of lining up text indentation kind of rulers and stuff like that. Yeah, really nice stuff that you can get without having to install any of the plugins. But a few kind of plugins that, everyone who uses Sublime Text probably has their own personal list, but this is a few of the ones that I use a lot. Well, the first one is essential. If you use Sublime Text, the first thing you have to do is download package control, because it doesn't come built in, but package control is what basically allows you to install all of the other plugins and themes. So yeah, first thing to do, get package control and install everything else after that. It's just a breeze. Except the other day when I found that your settings have a list of plugins that are disabled, and somehow package control has managed to add itself to that list of disabled plugins. So if you've used Sublime Text for a while and you suddenly lose package control, have a look in your user settings at your list of disabled plugins and see if package control is there. Which is very weird. Okay, I'll actually try and demo a few of these. So, not Sublime Linter. So, yes, Sublime has a good package for linting. It's kind of a combo of different packages. So you have there's one overall linter package, and then you can get around language-specific linters that will usually run off some actual linting package that you need to have installed on your system. So if you have PHP Code Sniffer installed on your system, you can download the linter packages, and then you've got PHP Code Sniffer linting live in your editor, which is really cool. Really helps if you're in a team and you're all working towards a code standard. If you actually have that designed as a PHP Code Sniffer standard in that system, then that everyone's working to the same thing. So my get one is lots of red on in their editor if they're not adhering to the standard. Sidebar enhancements. I'll show you. So this is Sublime, and out of the box you get a very tiny menu on here. So sidebar enhancements give you lots of much nicer stuff in here, like all the duplicate, rename, move, delete. Yeah, this is out of the box is a really limited menu. So sidebar enhancements is an essential to get all this cool stuff that you can do with the files and folders. Doc Blocker is the one I use, but there's one called PHP Doc, which is really useful for generating a skeleton of PHP doc comments if you use those. So you see here, I have a function which doesn't have a comment on it. So as soon as I type / for a doc comment and press return, then it's outlined all of this stuff with what I need to fill in, and I can just tab between those and fill in the descriptions of the parameters and the types and everything. And if you have any code hinting or type hinting in your function definition, then it'll pick that up automatically and put it in as a type. So that's a really nice little shortcut. Emote is a really cool one. And it used to be called Zen coding apparently, but it's really good for it's kind of generating kind of skeleton outline stuff for HTML. So if I want to do a div, I can do if I just type div and I want to have a class of called green. And I just press that, then it generates it automatically. Or if I want a list with 5 line items in it, do that, and it automatically generates just around that line. And you do a lot of front end stuff. It's really cool for just doing that. And I've mentioned the align tab. Yeah, this is one I've never really used before, but I'm on a kind of mailing list that sends out Sublime Text tips, and one of their recent ones was took this package. So if you have all these variables, but you think, oh, that'd look much nicer if they were all aligned on the equal sign, then this plugin gives you a menu here. You can do it align by first equals, and then it'll get nicely lined up here. Which if you like that kind of obsessive code neatness, is a really cool one. And there are lots of options for Git and Mercurial or other kind of version control system integrations. I don't use one a lot myself. I tried one that just gave a status in the kind of gutter here, but I didn't find that useful, so I didn't really persist with that one. So some of the other built-in stuff, I mentioned the multiple cursors. One, if you use Sublime, you use it all the time, is Control D or Command D. So I've got this variable, I've misspelled it, I've put variable rather than variable. So I've used it a few times, so every time I hit Control D, it will select the next version of that one. And each one of those has got a cursor, so when I've got more, I just variable. And they're all fixed. Or I can select all of these and do, what is it, Command Shift L, and I've got a cursor on each line, so I can change that.
I think it's default, but you can do the same thing by dragging the middle mouse button as well. So you can select down and just have one more group.
Yeah, you get kind of column select and stuff as well. What's shown on that core features? Yeah, so that's the kind of plugins that I use. Yeah, you can do a search. I did it before I was writing this talk the other night. Just like search for Sublime Text PHP development, and you get those people doing like top 10 plugins you must have for Sublime Text for PHP development, and they're all kind of really useful lists. So if you think of switching, then it's definitely worth doing that to kind of get an overview of what's out there. So it's very worth a catch. It's definitely not as smart as one of those full-blown IDs that are doing, as I say, kind of heavy code analysis and stuff. As I mentioned, like the autocomplete and the kind of go-to definitions are all based on text symbols, which it works a lot of the time. But one example is a recent feature that they've added to Sublime Text is that when you hover over, say, like a method name, it will give you a list of all the possible places where that's been defined. It's doing that because it's found that string in a method definition somewhere in your code base. Whereas PHP Storm would probably have a better idea of what's going in your code and would just give you the link to the definition you actually need. So that kind of aspect of those IDs, it's much more accurate than you get in Sublime Text. But it works well enough and it's quick. It's not doing all that massive indexing for you all the time. So there's no fancy kind of refactoring. There's some really great tools for refactoring in PHP Storm. You don't really get that. I mean, you might be able to find some plugins out there that will do some of that stuff for you. One I saw kind of mentioned a lot in those lists was Sublime Code Intel, which I think gives you a bit more of a kind of real language dependent, intelligent kind of code analysis stuff, but that's not something I've even used myself. Next one now. I've still not found an FTBug plugin for Sublime Text that I think is at all usable. So if you use it debugger a lot, then I'm trying to say over the last 2 years I've used PHP Storm a lot, and that's because I've been using it as an Xdebug client, because the debug clients in Sublime Text just aren't good enough. That's not anywhere like as good as what you get in PHP Storm. So because there's lots of developers developing their own plugins in Python, they're all trying to put in nice fancy keyboard shortcuts, and you pretty soon reach the point where you've installed a new package and you find that the shortcut that you're using for this other package forever suddenly stops working. It's because the new plugin that you've installed has taken over it. And there's actually a plugin that will analyze all of your keyboard shortcuts that have been defined by all of your packages and tell you where they're coming from, so you can actually go in and try and sort it out. So that could be a bit frustrating, but I think personally I've built up a set of plugins that I use, and I'm just not like I'm chucking packages in and out all the time, so you kind of you get it sorted out, and as long as you're not constantly updating stuff, then you're fine. And when I first took up Sublime Text, it was kind of really rapid development going on there. That's really slowed a lot. I think a year or two ago there was like, it's more like a year where there were no updates to it, or there was any Sublime Text dead. And then a few more updates came out, but they're definitely not as rapid as they used to be. But that's probably because it's pretty good, it's stable, it doesn't crash a lot, and chucking more features into it is probably just going to make it more heavyweight and do away with one of its main advantages. Alternatives, I mentioned Atom earlier. So Atom is very, very similar to Sublime Text. It's basically developed by GitHub originally, but it's not now kind of open source, and it's basically there as an open source free alternative to Sublime Text. So I've tried a few times to switch. The go-to definition thing was one of the things that really put me off. It's also it's JavaScript based, so with Sublime Text it's all C. So if you're kind of dealing with a big code base or big files, then Atom can kind of grind to a halt sometimes, whereas with things that Sublime Text would just handle really easily. But having said that, Atom's really nice. Lots of people use it. So if you don't want to pay, I think Sublime's $59. If you want to say that, certainly a good option is to jump in with Atom. The package manager, which is built into Atom, is much nicer than the Sublime one. It's really nice and sleek. The other one that is kind of gaining a bit of traction in some areas is Visual Studio Code. This is not like the full-on super heavyweight Visual Studio. It's like Microsoft had developed a lighter weight version, which again, it's got the default black theme. It looks very much like Sublime Text in a lot of ways. And I've tried that a few times, and that's nice. The main issue with that is that PHP isn't really high up there on the priority list of languages to support. There's syntax highlighting and a bit of autocomplete, but there's not a great deal beyond that. Whereas, obviously, their own language and JavaScript has really good support, a bit more like the kind of IntelliText functionality that you get in the full-blown Visual Studio, which is, Visual Studio is a monster, but in terms of that kind of code completion and knowing what's going on in your code, I've never used an IDE like it. It's brilliant. But so for Visual Studio Code, you don't get that. But the advantages of both of those